All right. Just getting warmed up. If anybody hops on, if my lips are moving, you can't hear anything, let me know. Through a message just so I can get it fixed. Looks like the stream had a minute there needs to settle down a minute using satellite. So it gets glitchy every now and then. It's not as bad as it used to be since we've got more satellites up. But if it goes a little glitchy, it's probably communications between my ground station and the my uplink and the guys up top. Probably because I'm in a gap or something. But anyway, we're going to give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody wanders in. Rabun County rag. The rag part is kind of what do they call those things? A synonym? It's the initials for well, no, it's just something that ham radio operators would use. They would get on each other's frequency and they would chew the rag. They would call it rag chewing. So I just shortened it up and made it rag. So it's a rag chewing group of guys who are looking out after one another, making sure that they didn't need any kind of emergency assistance, or you could do service calls, check in on somebody on behalf of another individual. It provided a real community service. So that's kind of the idea behind it. But anyway, the game plan, and I'll repeat this when I get started, with the hopes that somebody will pop in. This is week number 6, and I don't know that I've had anybody watch it yet, but it's given me a lot of practice. It's made sure I could follow the stream and looks good, and the settings, and then making sure I have stuff to talk about. So if anybody catches this, it may show up as a stream. Send me a message, make a comment, and when I read the comments, if you present something that um, needs to be talked about in the community, uh, we'll get it out there and see if anybody else in the community is interested or has a different mindset, and hash it out and make sure that everybody understands. Has the same understanding. We develop relationships. We don't look to tear them apart. We want to find the common ground. We want to be the people that you can count on. We want to be the good neighbor. That's the objective. Anyway, here we go. Rabun County Rag. Rabun County Rag, where we get together and chew the rag and see what's going on in the community, share interests with one another, uh, get out information for activities and all that. And uh, right now, I'm just putting this out here on my own. I don't want to do this forever, but I think it's important that we have another. They just sold the radio stations where I live at, and I think it's important that we maintain uh, a viable, independent form of communication within the community. Anyway, I was going to start this on a happy note, and I'm going to. Man, we came out of that darn freezer, and the weather has been wonderful the past few days. We've had a little rain, but it's warmed up, and we had blue skies, and it was real nice. Now I don't know if we're going to get back into any freezers or anything like that, but it did do one thing. It turned my mind uh, to outdoor activities in the comfort of a warmer air mass. Things like gardening, uh, outdoor activities, things like that. Has anybody else started thinking about spring and what all that is? Everything greening up. Well, I don't see anybody in there, so I'm going to tell you what I got in my mind. The early wildflowers are wonderful. It's still cold, but they're out there and they're scratching their way to the surface, trying to find a foothold in their place to because they just can't travel. They've got to make do where they're at. The flowers, the wildflowers, you find them in brambles. You'll find them buried under leaves. You'll find them just barely, just so small. And you would think they're fragile because they're so small, but they're hardy. There's multitudes of them. You just have to look for them. And when you get up close and you look at them real close, first when you look down, you may see a speck of color. But if you examine more closely, you'll find that there's really exciting, uh, what do we call that? The biodiversity of the low ground. I forget the technical terms, but yeah, that's spring. That's spring. Uh, Soil's warming up. I'm thinking now. I'm thinking in the next few weeks that I should start my seeds, get my seeds started. I got a place where I keep them warm and keep humidity up and keep the air blowing and lights on them and try to get those seeds started. When you buy $5 for a tomato plant at the Home Depot, uh, I don't know. They grow wonderful. They've got a magic formula, but I I don't expect that big of production out of my vegetable garden. I know what it could produce with minimum amounts of fertilizer, and I mean minimum amounts. And last year it worked out pretty good. We did just about right. We gave away a little bit, but the rest of it was for the wildlife and what not but there was some for the wildlife. I sitting on the back porch looking out there, and there's an old squirrel low crawling out of the garden with a tomato in its mouth. Somebody else told me that one time, and I never thought much about it till I saw uh, that old squirrel out there, gray squirrel out there creeping out of there. He's a big fat fella too. He probably had a lot of mouths to feed. Anyway, uh, so I'm not sure about the planting seasons here. I mean, I look at the almanac, but um, I've only been in this settled in this part of the Northeast for about 8 years, and I've gone several different ways on gardening, when to start and how to start, and placement. And when I bought the lot up here, it was a big old mud pie. That's all it was, big old mud pile of rocks in it. And so I had to spend probably 4 years just amending the soil naturally. I, I got I let weeds grow. I learned more about letting the weeds grow about plants. Some of those things I thought were weeds were actually do have a use, a purpose. Whether it's for a medicinal, yeah, a lot of it's medicinal, or teas. You can make teas and things that people had to do in the past to enjoy something other than water. Um, and maybe they had some nutritional value or had some type of healing value, or they had a value. They made them a value. I wonder how many people got sick giving that stuff a test run. Hmm. But I'm grateful for the information that we now have. And I think it's important that we learn as much of that as possible. That needs to be passed through, because so many of the medicines today, I know everybody's heard it, so many of the medicines today are derivatives from a natural substance that was discovered, or created, or whatever you want to call it, you know, by the natives, by the South Americans, the people who live in the rainforest, minimalist survival, living off the land, hunter gatherers, had to figure out a way to keep themselves fed and warm and all that as they went about their daily lives. So I think we all need that connection. We wouldn't know anything about astronomy if we didn't have that. But anyway, uh, so what kind of plants? What's popular where you're at? I like to I like to have some zucchini. I don't like a lot of it, but I do like zucchini and I like the cucumbers. And ours always, they're not those big things you see in the grocery store, but they're edible and they're delicious, and the flavor's a little more intense than the ones that I get in the grocery store. Uh, I've always got, I've always got turnips, kale, and collard greens sowed somewhere. Some of them are wild now. We'd gather up the seeds and put them to the side, and they'd fall on the ground. And I got them old turnips, boy. They'll grow in some rough dirt. I'm really impressed with that. But tomatoes. Now we do like a variety of tomatoes. Some of the better boys, some of the heirloom varieties that are big, and you can just take one slice for a sandwich. Yeah, I like those. Um, But then again, we like the plum tomatoes, and I like the cherry tomatoes. You just grab a handful and enjoy them, and they're sweet. Um, yeah, that's a lot of the stuff. Okra, I like okra, but I'm the only one who eats it, so I hate throwing stuff away. I don't mind if the animals eat what I don't eat, but I don't want to overkill, so I do put out a little okra, and I always have basil in case we want to make pesto or spaghetti. Uh, cilantro, always cilantro. Peppers, all kinds of peppers, bell pepper, jalapeno pepper, uh, uh, cayenne pepper, and banana pepper. I'd like to try some Anaheim or some poblanos, is what I'd like to do. But just a plant or two of those, just something to feed yourself with to get that satisfaction. Uh, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Uh, if you're watching or you watch this later, uh, put in some comments, and next week, next Thursday at 6, uh, we'll go over what you think. We're just now in getting into start thinking about spring. But how about planning schedule? I'm thinking, when do I need to start my seeds indoors? Middle of March, 1st of March for mid-April to put out in mid-April. I don't know. That's now. I'll go if I don't have any stands of greens left out there. I'll go out there and sow some greens, and I broadcast it. I'm not going to bend my back getting that stuff down, and I plant it too thick sometimes. And I know it needs more space, but I'm not after a prize winning kale. I'm looking to go out there and pick them like I would a dandelion green to have on a salad or something. I wish my collards did better. I need to work on those. But yeah, starting to got a little place in the basement, got the lights, all that. I think I mentioned it already, and I start them, and they always get real leggy. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about that, getting them leggy. They say give them 16 hours of light a day, but that sure makes them darn things leggy. I wonder if I could cut back on that lighting. I'm probably doing it wrong. It worked out all right last year and the year before. Yeah, seed starting. Boy, I'm covering a lot of ground. I better slow down. How do you stay? Somebody send me a comment and tell me how you start your seeds. I've been using them little Jiffy, little compressed peats. You'll wet them and the seeds, and then you plant the seed in it. Those are kind of convenient, but I don't know. Maybe I ought to just use some old. I try to keep waste down around here, but would it be better to buy some old Dixie cups and use those? You can plant those, can't you? Just tear the cups and put them in the compost. Feed them to the worms. Might do that. Good idea, Scott. Somebody out there watching this in the next few days before next Thursday, uh, send me a comment on that and let me know how you do it. I'm really interested. I'm trying to get better at everything I do. That's what they tell me you're supposed to do, and I believe that. If you're gonna do something, just keep doing it and do a better and better job of it. All right. I got some more stuff. Along with that, and and this is for personal items. And if you have this resource available and want me to let everybody else know, send me a message and let me know. I'm gonna come get mine first though. And I'm looking for some mulch. Uh, it can be, I prefer old straw, old hay. Uh, would be better if it was out of a cattle barn somewhere, and it was the where we cleaned up the barn floor. I'd take a sweet load of or two or three of that. If it was reasonable. If you got too much of that around there, you need to clean the place up, and want me to mention it here, send me a note or message, and I'll be sure to put it out there. And heck, man, all this garden, you got a lot of extra manure. You might get your barn cleaned out pretty quick if you need to. Depends on how much you need for your garden, I reckon. Anyway, those are some things that I see that I'm going to need. So if you got any of that old straw mulch or hay mulch, I don't care if it's 2 or 3 years old, don't bother me. I'm just going to lay it on and mulch the garden with it. That's another thing I'm thinking. For years and years, I got out there with a darn old tiller and broke my neck out there tilling up 2, 3, 4, 5 garden spots. But I'm thinking about this year on the vegetable garden is not even till it on 2 of them. I'll till the smaller ones because I'm still trying to build up soil composition there. But I'm thinking if I keep it mulched enough, whatever weeds come up, we'll pull up pretty easy. And it keep more moisture in the soil and the rhizomes and all the little stuff that grows in there and holds that mat that forms, wouldn't be breaking up. Now, some of you technical guys can let me know what that layer is called. I do. I'm aware of it, but the name of it has slipped my mind, and I think I'm finally starting to understand the importance of that layer. Whole lot of different reasons. Just like your compost pile. I'm becoming a real connoisseur of old compost. There's some things that work real well. Some things take a little more time. But one thing I have learned, that organic matter in the soil or on the ground is absolutely critical. Now, there's different types I've come to learn. I don't know that oak leaves are the best thing to leave on your ground in compost. Or have on your garden. I think that's too rich in something, maybe carbon or something. But now I have been using wood chips, but they've got heat on them, a couple heats on them, and they're broken down pretty good. And I've been tittling them in over the past couple years and using it as an amendment. But I've this past year at the end of the season, I just took some loads of that stuff and put right on top of the dirt. And I'm debating on whether we're going to find out. I'm just not going to till those. I've decided. I got two, I don't know, 30-foot diameter, and another one 30 by 30. I think I'm just going to go no till on those this year. Maybe a little 10-10-10 or something like that, not much. And see if the nutrients needed for these plants are, and I'll get some soil samples and I'll take those to the extension service down here and see what I get back on that. But anyway, we still on that old gardening thing. Yeah, it's only 15 minutes into it too, man. I bet I spilled about 1,000 words. But local paper, a couple things struck me when I was reading this old local thing. That state parks, especially around here, they have all kinds of activities that you and your family can engage in. And I don't think it's really that expensive to pay for an event at some of these state parks. You know, they are state parks. They may have to have an admission fee or an activity fee to pay an expert to come in and talk about something, and that might be, but that's learning about nature, learning about a lot of things. Um, so, you know, don't overlook your local stuff. Uh, Six Six Flags, Disney World, Dollywood, all them places. Hey, y'all like going there? That's fine and dandy. I just cruise ships. There's too many people together for there to be. I don't know. Just me. Y'all do it. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Viva la vie. Live and let live. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, don't overlook your state parks and local parks. Even some of the churches. I'm looking here. The chess club. Wayfarers. It's a chapel. If you're into the yoga and the Zen stuff, they have a little place, and you could go there and get your Zen on or whatever you need to do. Hey, I believe in that stuff. I still believe in Jesus. Jesus number one. But some of that self-soothing stuff sure will work. If you keep Jesus in it. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, if you're looking for a church, if you're looking for, if you've got a partner or somebody that's into the narcotics, they've got special classes for that, or special gatherings for that, where you can go and support each other and learn to cope with it. Other places too, not necessarily state parks, but Salty Nachuchi offering several classes at their center: watercoloring, acrylic painting, oil painting, heritage arts and crafts. I've seen them make them dulcimers there, teach you how to make a dulcimer, all kinds of stuff. Church activities for children. Hey, man, get them kids off the couch. Get them kids off the couch. Take them to the darn church. Take them to Boy Scouts. Take them dancing. Their little girls to their dance thing or whatever the little girls like to do. Dad, you'd be there to support. I don't care if you do got to hold your nose. Hey, look at this one. Learn how to tie popular fishing flies with Trout Unlimited. The local Trout Unlimited is having a tie flying class, swapping tails and flies and recipes on February 18th at the Episcopal Church. If you want to know more about it, y'all send me a message and I'll pass it along. Well, I'm not going to be throwing people out until they say, hey, let people know about us. Man, he's got a lot of music. You got, senior citizens with meals, and the sheriff is in here wanting to sign up, people to sign up for the Citizens Academy. That's a good thing. Also says where the Democrats are meeting, the Republicans meeting, if you're so inclined. I'm afraid somebody might see me at one of them. Either one of them. I never got into the old, what do they call them things? That had them old Greek letters they had to remember and all that crazy stuff. Fraternities. I got into some sororities now, but never got into the fraternity. Anyway, that's where we're at, and there's all kind. Hey, how about that? In the state of Georgia, they still talking about this HB 581. You know, I remember this thing when I went to the darn polls, general election. I'm pretty sure I voted no because I'm not that easy to sign up for a new law. And the way they word the darn thing, they're always a little twisted. And I just, I feel like they're trying to trick me because I was uninformed. But I know I voted no on that 581. Oh, it's a House bill. So they're presenting in there that Bill 581 establishes a base amount to be allowed to be collected on homesteaded property and limits annual increases to those property taxes to the rate of inflation. But here's the darn thing, they give counties an option to get out of it. So it sounds to me, maybe I'm not the smartest guy, why would they even present that? What is the deal with that? They're going to tie the value of the homestead to the rate of inflation. Okay. They can't go up any higher than the rate of inflation. So if there's zero inflation, then they get to bill only the same amount. And if there's a 4% inflation, they get to raise it to 4%. But if inflation drops back down to 2%, are they going to go back? Or are they just bound to that highest of previous amounts? What if one year the inflation goes to 25? And then everybody in every county raises their property values by 25%. In the next 5 years, it goes back down to 2. Do they stay at 25? What controls them? I don't know. Except people vote with their feet, I reckon. Where is that at? California. How many businesses California lose because people said, I'm out of here? And the only ones left out there is the rich. I guess that might be the way they planned it. That's why they need those illegal immigrants to be their fodder, their slaves, can't get white people to be slaves no more. I can't say that. I didn't mean it that way. I really didn't. You can't get hardworking people to do that work anymore. You can't get people with a sense of dignity to do that work anymore. Well, now that's not true either. Them immigrants look, I know lots of them, and they're wonderful people, and they come to this country to make their way. And they know if they're here illegally, they know. And I've helped promote a few immigrants and helped them along their way, vouched for them, wrote good letters. They performed good work. I found them to be of good moral character. And I took responsibility and said, yeah, this guy's good. Not aware of any of them coming back or being deported. I don't know. But I thought they were of good character. Anyway, I don't understand that House Bill 581. Why do they want to link it to anything, and then why does some of them want to bail out? I don't know. How can I even go voice my opinion? I don't understand it. Maybe that's why somebody wants it. Anyway, y'all let me know about that. Sky Valley, Georgia needs a new police chief. It looks like it. This old fellow Wallace, he gave me his notice. I don't know what happened there, but if you in law enforcement and you think you can do that, Go up there and talk to them. I don't know if I would, man. Got a new got a new charity. I don't know if this thing will show up. Habitat for Hounds. I wonder if that's old Jimmy Carter spinoff. Habitat for Hounds. Well, I guess it's good. My wife contributes to a no kill shelter. And that's her. Let her do it. I'm either here. I don't know. I got a couple cats around here I wouldn't care much for. I wouldn't get them out of hokey. Anyway, all right, we covered thinking about. Oh, we hadn't. What about other spring? It's a little early. What about other spring activities? How about some? What's the fishing opportunities like? I hear they've been catching some crappie on some lakes now. I mean, that's either old information or something. I thought crappie was when the dogwoods was in bloom, but apparently they're catching them. I don't. Somebody help me understand that. How them crappy behavior. The fish, the fish. What's how do they? What makes them do their schooling or get into their breeding? Somebody, if you're watching this later on, let me know because it doesn't look like anybody's on here again. This is week number 6, and this is what I'm building. I'm building content. I don't know what kind of content it is, or if it's viewed as humorous, viewed as uh, important, viewed as significant, viewed as stupid, but I'm putting the content out there just for an hour a week on a live stream, trying to build a community of people who are nearby and we have a lot in common. We can protect our own interests. I wrote something not long ago, and I'll probably expand on this, but I'll share it with you guys. If we don't take care of if we don't take control of our community and culture, who will? And the other thing, I don't know where we're at politically here, but this is in general. This is the people and their follower. The president and his cabinet are not the only ones responsible for looking over and protecting the rights, responsibilities, or culture of the American citizenry. The largest contributor must be the citizenry itself. I don't know what all that means. But anyway, the first part is if we don't take control of our community and culture, who will? That could that, you got to have a strong culture. I'm not saying be open or not to be open to be closed, but no one else has a right to force, especially if they're from another part of the world, to come in here and into this country and make demands that we follow their cultural norms. That's I misunderstand immigration. If that's what it's about now, you can still have your beliefs and you can still gather with your like-minded people. You can have a YouTube channel to draw the flock. You can do all those things and you can own property and you can build a church and you can build a community, but you have no right to make people follow that. That's an individual choice, and you cannot rob an individual of their liberty. You have to respect it. And we respect yours. If they're Christians, they respect yours. I don't know. That's just another crazy thing here. I could talk about it. I could talk about fishing. I could talk about numismatics. I could talk about photography, botany, fishing, gardening. What is that? I made a darn list, man. All this crazy stuff I have attempted. I'm sure plenty of people have done a lot more, but I'll share it with y'all. And what I wrote, sticky notes. I'll be doing something else. I have a strange thought, and I'll start jotting stuff down, and then I keep it because somebody else might be able to help me out with the meanderings of a madman, so to say. But at the very top of it, I have here tinkering fool, skipping through life, tinkering. And I've gotten a bunch of stuff written down here: biology, gardening, camping, fishing, hunting, motorcycles, old beat up old cars, ham radio operator, truck driver, truck maintenance, truck and terminal manager, demolition, photography, painting, watercolor, music, videos, mentoring leaders, and then at the very bottom it says tinkering, not rich, not poor, godly, tinkering. Anybody sees that? I may say it again one day. Refine that. What is it called? What's the title again? The Tinkering Fool. Kind of like, I guess, it might have been Mark Twain I was thinking about. He said, I don't know what he's responding to. It was something, he's a newspaper man, wrote stories for papers. He got to travel. He turned in stories because of his humor. Anyway, he said, I might be a fool, but I'm God's fool. And that's kind of, I like that. As long as you don't hurt anybody, right? And if you do, you hurt somebody, and I'm not talking about the old physical violence, but, rowdiness and bravado and virility and all that stuff. People have a tendency to say things that they shouldn't. And gosh, I just talked about this the other day. Forgiveness. And I didn't even present the idea of asking for forgiveness. I only concentrated on giving and accepting forgiveness. I need to make a note because that's got to be a topic. Asking. Oh, sorry guys. Thank you. So there we go. Y'all, y'all give me some ideas if you watch this or you come on board and start watching it. When, why, and how should you ask for forgiveness? And how do you know when to ask for forgiveness? When the other person is offended? Do they tell you or not communicate? Anyway, something else to explore. Good Lord. Y'all help me out. Put in a comment. All right. Hey, is it time for a musical interlude? Let me check it out. Hang on. I got it right here. I don't know if it's tuned up. It can't be no copyright on this, YouTube. This is something right out of the ether. All right. Anyway, brought to you straight from the ether, boys and girls. People ask me, do I play? I say, nope, I just practice. That's all I do is just practice. I find some way it sounds good to me. I've been told it sounded like caterwauling cats before, but I like it. That's what's important. Maybe somebody else will like it too. Who knows? But I'm going to express myself and put it out there. All right, what time we got? Oh, we got 20 minutes left. What shall we talk about? How about other spring activities? You know, we talked about the gardening. Sounds good. What about that grass cutting? What about trimming them shrubs and cutting back them trees and fixing them washes and repairing stairs? I'm putting in some stairs around back here so people can get into this back part of the house where my office is and shop and all that. Man, I got to get out there and do that. Maybe I'll take. Oh, I never did fix my harmonica either. Man, I got carried away in a whole lot of things. I've been talking about rebuilding this thing that I bought at the flea market, and nobody said anything about it yet. I keep waiting for it to pop in there that somebody has. Somebody says, "Hey, man, rebuild that thing." I take some pictures. I ain't ever seen how one's made, or they just want to see me screw it up, or if they want to. I don't know about these either. Yeah, I did wipe it down when I bought it home. But if you look at it, it looks like it's some crusties. I don't know if that mouthpiece is going to show up or not. But down in there where those veins are, those gates or whatever they call them. Excuse me if I blow y'all out getting too close to the microphone. But you can see a little dirt there. Anyway. Y'all, somebody put in the comments, say, hey man, when you gonna rebuild that thing? Get me motivated. This thing is really nice. It's got an artificial, a gator. How do you plastic artificial gator skin case? Now, you don't find that stuff everywhere, but I did. Y'all let me know. All right, man. I've been in the office all day. Right here, note 4:35 this morning. I got in the office 4:35. Only had to record and edit 2 little short 5-minute videos. I couldn't. I was so tongue tied this morning. And one thing, I got it perfect. I was ready to go. And I got these headphones. This old junk things. These old headphones, but it's wore out and it's rubber back and it's falling off of it. I got through recording, put it in Premiere Pro, and about halfway through editing it, I saw a little black spot right here in my beard, man. I said, God dog it, I done got spit on my beard and I'm sitting here talking to folks. I said, that ain't that. That looks more like a darn. And I was still editing the video, and it was a piece of that black patch. I thought it was a bug. I didn't know what it was. So I had to redo it again. So I think I've recorded one of them twice at least, and one of them 3 times at least. And then the editing, and shoot, man alive. But I enjoy it, you know. And I know I'm on a learning curve, and I know that it's aggravating when you're on a learning curve, and I've seen myself getting better about certain things. But it's when you're really wanting to make it look good and you can't get it the way you think it should be. It's not the way you see it in your mind's eye. Man, that is frustrating. Getting the sound so it's pleasant and you're trying to vocalize, and me, I'm a blah, 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 blah kind of guy. I'll blather, man. Yeah, it's hard for me to. Anyway. So I've been in the office all day. What time is it? 6:30, 6:40, 6:45. So that's 14. Now, I did get out, went to town, got a newspaper. Helped my wife diagnose a darn old Subaru she's got, giving her trouble. We don't know what it is. She thinks it's a map air sensor. And I said, okay. And I said, well, we can take it down there and test it. And she goes, no, it's got all these other symptoms. I'm just going to replace it. And I said, well, you want me to go to the store? Or you want to go to the store? I'll give you a credit card. She said she didn't want. She's got some other things going on right now. She wasn't really into it, and she thought I was being aggressive. But I was like, no, I'm trying to help. Let it sit up there and rust. It don't matter to me, man. I'll do about anything for anybody. But I just can't. I don't have the ability to guess what you want me to do, including being helpful. Don't y'all think bad about my wife now. Think bad about me, impatient or whatever. Anyway, other spring activities. Some of you golfers out there, and baseball players, softball players. Smell that fresh cut grass on the ball field right now, can't you? Out on that golf course, beautiful spring day. Man, out there chasing that darn old white ball around like a fool. I did that a long time. The other one was skeet shooting, bird hunting. Man, I spent more time doing old crazy stuff like that. Anyway, so fishing opportunities. We did talk about the crappie. Uh, what's your tactic this time of year, and how do you know to use it? And what's your favorite fish? Is it when does the season really crank in and get rolling real good for us? And what seasons come what? Is it the crappie first, and then the stripers, and then the bass? What about the trout, and then the brim and bluegill and shell crackers and alligators? Pike, pickerel, chain pickerel. What else is there out there? Creek chubs. I'm an expert at creek chubs. I can catch the food. And can't nobody do a better job than me at catching the darn creek chub. I'll guarantee you. I think they ought to have a tournament. Creek chub tournament. Yes, sir. That'd be fine and dandy. I wouldn't have to buy bait for a year. I caught one of them old creek chubs last year and held it in my hand, and it had enough meat on it, I began to wonder what it might taste like. Makes me wonder about the health of the trout stream, too. If I start seeing a lot of brim and a lot of bass way up high, I don't know. It just makes me kind of feeling a little skittish. Now, your old grandboy, he came over to visit today. Man, we got out in the yard, and I just turned him loose and I followed a comfortable distance behind him. He's four, fixing to be four. I followed a comfortable distance behind him. He just went and went and went, and then I sat down and he went some more. And I told him I had to come down here because I was going to do this, and I'll go back upstairs when this ends, and he'll be cleaned up. I want to see if we beat some of that sugar out of him out there running around the yard, see if he's ready for nap time or whatever. Anyway, fishing. How about hunting? What's on the agenda? What's coming up? I know we still got some time in the squirrel season, some time. Maybe some more time in the deer. I'm not sure. Not much left though, but time to start thinking about spring now. I know that the turkey season comes in, early spring? Late spring. Maybe March sometime. I seen them old videos, them boys shooting them down with an arrow, taking their heads clean off. I'm like, good God. I hope them boys is on my side. That's what I'm hoping. So what else is there besides turkey? See, dove don't come in till spring. How about grouse? How about quail? Somebody send me a note. Get me back up to speed on them spring hunting seasons. What's out there? I saw one of them darn about 45 minutes north of here. I think it was up around Cherokee. Yeah, man, there's a big old elk on the side of the road. Saw him another time right there at the southern entrance to the Great Smoky Mountains. There's a big field there, and there's hundreds of them there one spring. Them darn things big. It makes me wonder how long it'll be before we'll see them in my part of the country. That's only 40 miles from here. And they had a good population. That'd be creepy. Walk out on your front porch and there's a damn old elk looking at you nose to nose, and you're 10 feet off the ground. Them dogs is big. I see old people trying to take pictures of them. I said, man, y'all are not be poking that Sasquatch. Come get you. mess with that darn thing. So, spring activities, sports, then there'll be summertime. But I really, this warm weather really got me thinking. I was looking for green grass out there. I could swear I could see some of it getting green. Um, Man, it's coming though. Old vegetable garden. Y'all taste some old garden fresh vegetables yet? Them almost overripe tomatoes where the skins almost want to fall off when you slice them. Slather them with some mayonnaise and a slice of onion on some bread. And I can't eat that white bread. They got this stuff called keto bread now. I can eat some of that. But that old white bread, I eat that stuff, my old blood sugar goes sky high. Getting where a man can't enjoy nothing. Don't drink no Cokes, no alcohol. Now, every now and then, I'll sneak one of my wife's Diet Cokes. It'd take me 2 days to drink that darn thing. Just a regular old bottle. I don't know how big it is. Coffee every day. Water, lots of water, at least a quart or two of water every day, including probably 16 to 24 ounces of coffee. Anyway, we got 5 minutes left. I need to start coming up with something nice that started the thing off. And I meant to do that. I did talk about the blessing of the wonderful weather before all that other stuff. But anyway, Rabun County Rag, it's where we get together and talk about what's going on in our community of like-minded people, exchange resources that benefit members amongst the members, that we take care of our own. That's what I'd like to see this be. And this would be, listen, I can set you up. We can do Zoom calls. We can have monthly meetings if y'all want in person at somewhere and have a barbecue. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a community. Make a community. I've worked in Atlanta all my life and haven't had that sense of community since my children were small. And we lived in a small town. And in the old big city, the cultural changes over the years. But anyway. That's about it. Covered everything I got. Y'all, if somebody just happens through this and sees it and takes the time to listen, please send me some comments on stuff you'd like to hear about, and then tune in next Thursday and you can pick on me or you can spill your 2 cents, as long as it's I don't think we want a lot of trash on here, because I think eventually there may be younger people on here, high schoolers and things like that, and we want them to see that we believe in courtesy and kindness and all that crazy stuff. Anyway, and y'all don't hesitate. Sometimes I'll say something I ought not say. Heaven knows I've done it plenty of times, most of my life, and I'm trying to work on it. Watch that old language, improve my vocabulary. If you quit using cuss words, you really do improve your vocabulary. And if you have an improved vocabulary, you seldom have to use a curse word. You might use an explicative from time to time when you mash your finger or something. Or darn old dog don't behave. All right. I think we're getting close. Where are we at? Yeah, got another minute or two. I don't want to hold nobody up. Would like to leave this with you. First of all, every day wake up and realize and be grateful for the opportunity you've got to be standing where you are right there. Doesn't matter how much you got or how little you got. Just be grateful for what you're in, what you got. And you'll be blessed and find it a blessing, and you'll be blessed even more if you keep that good spirit. And there's always one thing here. I got just a minute.